I spent 30 days running my entire real estate business using both of these. ChatGPT, you could probably see it there, ChatGPT and Claude. Some tasks, some goals every single day. I'm going to be straight up with you. The difference was not even close. So one of these tools made me look like a, completely chaotic person. And then the other made me seem the most prepared, most responsive, most dialed in agent in my market. So let's get into it. So today I'm going to be breaking down exactly what I tested, what the results were, and which one you should be using as a real estate agent right now in your business. And if you've been using ChatGPT and wondering why the outputs feel a little off, I'm going to make sure you understand why. Every day for 30 days, I ran 5 core real estate tasks through the business tool. Some input, some prompt, and then I compared the outputs side by side. So the 5 tasks were: one was lead follow up, emails and texts. 2 was listing descriptions. 3 was objection handling scripts for common seller and buyer pushback that I get. And then 4 were market update briefs that I could send to my database. So, and then the 5th one was the content scripts for YouTube and my short videos like TikTok and things like that. So I tracked which tool gave me something I could actually use immediately versus something I had to rewrite. And that was my metric. In real world usability, let's just go through the results. Lead follow up. This is where the gap kind of showed up more or less immediately. ChatGPT gave me follow up messages that were technically correct, I guess, professional, but they felt like, like a robot. Like, hi there, I wanted to reach out and follow up on our recent conversations regarding your real estate needs. Like that's just not. That's not how I talk. Um, Nobody really talks like that, and nobody really responds to messages that sound like that. Claude did something a little bit differently though. When I gave it context about the lead, what they said or what Claude said, about what the lead said and where they were in the process and what their hesitations were, Claude wrote back in a way that actually addresses that person's specific concerns and needs. And I felt like I wrote it because and I did this to both. I set up, the whole prompt system, the whole baked in, my voice, everything like that. So over those 30 days, my response rate on Claude, written follow ups, were significantly higher, and not just like a small difference, like a noticeable one. And then, so task number 2, what I did was I gave it listing descriptions. ChatGPT is actually solid here. It's pretty good. Both tools can write a decent listing description if you give them the property details. In some cases, you just have to give them the property pictures and then it can take it from there. But here's where Claude pulled ahead. And when I gave it a difficult property to write something about, something with challenges, a smaller square footage, an awkward layout, a location that wasn't really ideal, ChatGPT would just gloss over the negatives and just ignore them. Claude would find the genuine angle, the real story in there, and that's where the buyers would actually start to convert with those descriptions. So that's a listing description that converts versus one that just kind of dies. The other one wasn't even close. Like ChatGPT, for example, the other one was like, I said here's one scenario I gave it. So I said my seller wants to list at $50,000 over what the comps support, and they believe their home is worth more because of the improvements that they made. So how do I handle this? And ChatGPT gave me a list about talking points, which is fine. It's very generic. But something you'd find in a sales training manual from about 2015, right? Claude gave me a strategy I could walk through and the psychology of what the seller was actually feeling so I could understand and why they're anchored into that price specifically, and then the conversation framework for shifting their perspective without damaging the relationship. So I used Claude's approach in an actual listing appointment. And the following week, I got that price to be right where it needed to be. And then task 4 was the market update brief. So both tools can pull market data, write a summary. The difference here is the tone and usefulness. So ChatGPT tends to write more like market updates that sound like a press release, formal, distant, something your client would just kind of skim over and delete, or where Claude writes them the way you are or expect a trusted advisor to write them or a friend to write them, just clear, direct, genuinely helpful. The kind of update that makes your database think this agent actually knows what's going on. And then there's task 5, right? The content scripts. ChatGPT can outline a video, no problem. Claude can write a video that sounds just like you. The difference is how each tool handles your voice, right? So when I give Claude samples of my past content and I told it to match the tone of my voice, it did that exact thing. The script it produced were ones that were pretty much camera ready without me having to rewrite a single line. And with ChatGPT, I was always kind of editing things back and forth, always making it sound less like a corporate memo and more like a human interaction, right? So the verdict, I need to tell you that one area where ChatGPT still has an edge, because this isn't a complete shutout, so just stay with me here, is this. Here is where ChatGPT kind of, I got to give it credit here, because um, the integrations, ChatGPT has more third-party plugins and direct integrations than Claude right now. At least Claude's quickly catching up. And if you have a specific tool that you plug directly into ChatGPT, certain CRMs, certain workflow builders, the ecosystem is a little more developed in that nature. Image generation access, if you need visuals generated alongside your text, thumbnails, listing to graphics, social media graphics. Chad has Dolly, which gives it kind of a built-in advantage there. Claude's getting a lot better, right? This sounds kind of like a minor thing, but it really matters. Your clients, the agents, um, that you work with, they've heard of ChatGPT. So if you're demonstrating an AI tool in a team setting or a client setting, ChatGPT is the one that they will recognize, right? So be direct. Um, because here's the thing: for the core work of a real estate agent, the writing, the strategy, the clients, the communications, the content, Claude wins. And it's not just a subtle win, it's a huge landslide. The question isn't really ChatGPT versus Claude. The question is, what are you trying to accomplish? That's where you need to pick your AI of choice. And if you want the best tool for running your real estate business day to day, my answer is Claude. So I'm just going to give you a couple practical examples of what I do, and then let me know if in the comments if this will work for you. So I use Claude for morning market briefs, and I use it for a briefing that give me short form green screen content. I posted a video about this before. Basically, it'll go and scan my market and tell me exactly what green screen content I need to be posting. For example, news articles or breaking news in the industry, etc. Home builders in my area. And then I can then take that and it'll give me the on-screen captions. It'll also tell me with the vidIQ plugin how my content is performing. So if any of that sounds interesting and you want a video on that, go ahead and drop a comment down below. Otherwise, if you want help implementing any of this I talk about on my channel into your business, first link in the description. Happy to jump on a call with you for free. No fluff, no push, no nothing. Just I'll help you out. And if you want some of my prompts and scripts, make sure that you reach out to me on Instagram so I can custom make those for your market specifically. All right, I'll see you on the next video.